Bună seara, stimați telespectatori, bună seara, dragi telespectatori ai Ambasador România. În această seară ne întoarcem puțin la locul faptei, ca să zic așa. Am avut câteva ediții în care am discutat despre Orientul Mijlociu, mai puțin cu participanți din zona respectivă. Am discutat despre zonele din Orientul Mijlociu, Nordul Africii, cu analiști, cu oameni care cunosc foarte bine aceste zone, dar nu cu oameni din acea zonă și au trecut ceva săptămâni. Am aflat și ce mize economice se află în spatele acestor crize, însă în seara aceasta ne întoarcem în Nordul Africii la o țară frumoasă, o țară extrem de frumoasă, o să vedeți, o țară care a trecut prin momente grele, a trecut printr-o revoluție, despre care vom vorbi, și care are un ambasador la București, o femeie extrem de simpatică și de elegantă, cu care cu siguranță vom avea o discuție cel puțin interesantă în această seară. Ms. Ambassador, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, and thank you very much for the nice introduction.
Well, I'm happy you understood the Romanian part. I should tell the people your name. It's Boutheina.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Boutheina.
Labidi.
Labidi. Boutheina Labidi.
Okay. Well, I did my best. And I understand my name in Arabic is Iskandar.
Said Iskandar.
Iskandar. Okay. Now that I understood also what is my name in the Arab language, I would like to start a discussion with you. We actually talked several times before that, and I enjoyed it very much. You are a very pleasant person.
Thank you.
And I would like to start with a more casual discussion, let's say, because Armenian citizens, I could see from what they wrote on Facebook, on different other channels of communication with us, they're very much interested in knowing, of course, the conflict, other issues, the relation with the neighbors, the relation with Romania, but they're also very interested to know more about the country. Because north of Africa, Africa in general, Middle East, are areas very, very interesting for Romanians, for us as Europeans in general. So that's why my first question to you to be, tell us more about Tunisia as a country, as a touristical country, of course, with all the challenges that you face, and I'm sure you'll make a description of that. But why Romanians should visit Tunisia, which is, by the way, Romanians should know that 140 kilometers from Sicily. So you are very close to Europe.
The European shores. Yeah, that's right.
It's
well, I've been here. I've been here 2 years now. I came November 20th, 2013. I presented my letters to President Basescu, then President Basescu, mid-January.
How was the meeting with Basescu? I'm sorry.
Very short, very brief. I was kind of disappointed, actually.
Really?
Because we were 17 ambassadors presenting our letters to the president. So it had to be a few minutes for each ambassador. You had to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
When we will see Mr. Basescu, we'll tell him that he should have given you a little bit more time.
Yes, I wanted to tell him more, actually, as he was the president of Romania. Let's go back to Romanians and their interest in my country. And I wanted to say that since I came, I noticed that Romanians, when they talk to me about Tunisia, because many Romanians I meet have been to Tunisia at least once. But they tell me about the same spots. They tell me about tourist resorts,
yes,
Sousse, Hammamet. I have very nice surprises when people come up to me and they say they went to Tunisia and they felt very much at home. And my response is, that's funny because I feel the same about Romania. So there's something there. There's something in common about how people are, fun-loving, hospitable, welcoming. That's how we feel here in Romania. To be able to present my country more to Romanians, we participated in the last Târgul de Turism, which was in November. many people would think, why would they do that? And some asked us the question, how is your country now? To me, it's a normal question, but also, why do they ask? But then I understand the need for them to know what happened after the last time, about safety. And my response to that is we moved forward. Unfortunately, the media here have only time to fix one moment in time.
Yes, that's true.
They do not follow up with the situation. They do not see that Tunisians, of course, they had to study the situation, they had to react very quickly. Our brigades, anti-terrorist brigades, were there on the spot in Sousse and in the Bardo Museum incident. But things happened then. We had a discussion and a debate about how to increase, how to reinforce the security for tourists and for Tunisians in public places, in tourist resorts. And because we are now a nascent democracy, we are a democracy in progress, the debate is very open. It's public. It's there for everybody to see and to hear. The debates were in Parliament, in the Tunisian Parliament, with the media. We have freedom of expression. We have had many criticism about how the handling was, how it could be done better, and how we could improve it. And the government announced immediate measures and then followed measures how to tackle the phenomenon itself.
Well, this is very good. It's a progress.
Of radicalization, of youth victims falling prey to hate speech, to this machinery over the internet, over certain websites, of recruiting young people who are vulnerable. So we know it's not only about equipment, it's not only, but we do that.
Propaganda as well,
it's also the propaganda and also tackling the deep roots of the malaise, if such a malaise exists with young people. The debate is very vigorous in Tunisia about, and many people say the factor, socioeconomic factor. We have, I'd say 10% of people are young in Tunisia, about 1 million out of a population of 11 million. Without whom we would call NEETs. There's a concept of people not in education, not in training, and who are just
easy to be recruited.
And that are easy to be recruited. We have also a high proportion of Tunisians who are educated, who have diplomas,
of course,
and who are desperate about finding jobs.
Yes.
And you have to be addressing also that kind of problem.
But coming back to presenting Tunisia and speaking about Tunisia, tell us a little bit of, not many, but few places where the Armenians should go and why, because they are very interested. I mean, I don't know, you presented already that it's more safe now than in the past, and I'm sure your forces are doing their best. And unfortunately, media, as any other instrument of communication, sometimes
show only tragic things and negative. We understand that. But also, we think when you present a negative side of things, you should present it in context. When you say that the situation has deteriorated, you should qualify the situation. Correct. The situation is happening in what kind of environment? If it's a democratic environment where people are asking the question, where they are together in parliament, in the public opinion, talking about how safe, even for the Tunisian public. Now the public opinion in Tunisia rates the security issue as #1 in their concerns.
On the agenda.
It comes before jobs, before health, before education. It comes first, security. Because for us, this is very new. As I said, as I think how people see us, they see us as we have the Mediterranean temperament. We are used to we're right there, smack right in the middle of the Mediterranean. So you can imagine, I think like Romania, throughout our history, we feel like we have been a melting pot.
Yes.
with all the civilizations
Absolutely.
that passed on the territory that is modern Tunisia now. We've had Carthage over 3,000 years ago.
Yes.
There was the Senate during that time in Carthage. So we have a history, we have a tradition. Also, we were for 4 centuries in the Roman Empire, and we have that in common. The Byzantines.
And you still have seats, Roman seats.
And we have magnificent
Yes.
heritage sites we have to show for this glorious history.
Absolutely.
And they're all in a very good state of preservation. Many sites are registered in the Universal Heritage by UNESCO. So there is a lot to see. And it also, that's one point
Yes.
I'd like to illustrate.
Please.
We are developing over the debate of tourism security, we're also developing a new way to promote tourism in Tunisia. It's not only about beach resorts. I understand that Romanian tourists like the sun and the sea and the Mediterranean.
Yes.
But we have other things to show. Cultural events, big festivals, say the festival in the wintertime, the Festival of Douz, which tells you everything about the Sahara, about the camels and the traditions of the people who raised them. And that's a whole culture to show people. History also. Yes. And an occasion to meet Tunisians, ordinary Tunisians. We have a folklore. We have a rich folklore. Yeah. We have gastronomy. And
how are the usual Tunisians? I mean, how is the traffic in Tunis, your capital? Because I want to see if we are similar in everything. So
Tunisia is a young population.
Yes.
The people under 35 years of age are the majority.
Wow. You are fortunate.
Yes, we have, like the other countries in the African continent, we have what they call the youth bulge. But it comes with the challenges.
Yes.
Of education, of job creation, and that's also something we are addressing right now.
Yes.
So ordinary Tunisians, they are
they
are living in the age of globalization. They are attuned to everything that's happening in the world. They are very much open to all trends, whether they come from Europe, whether they come from other Arab countries. Music is Arab, it's Tunisian, it's European, classical, pop. They love film. Lately we had the Carthage Film Festival. And do you know that when that sad day, when we had the last terrorist attack, the director of the GCC, of the Carthage Festival, decided not to stop.
Really?
And the numbers of young people and the people increased, doubled the day after.
Wow. Well, that's a sign of courage.
They love culture. You give them a festival and they are there by the thousands.
That's great. Well, I mean, especially that young people are interested. They are interested in culture. Here, we do have a challenge with that. But I want to ask you. I want to repeat the question because I want to understand if we are similar in everything. How is traffic in Tunis comparing with Bucharest?
Yes. There are times in Bucharest that remind me of the traffic in Tunis. Of course.
The drivers are also the same kind of
sometimes like
discipline.
Well, I have a tendency to find that Romanians, on the whole, are a bit more disciplined.
Really?
Yeah. I noticed that people occupy the center of the crossings.
Yes.
You have to leave space.
Yes.
It makes me laugh when people don't. Okay, now they are behaving like they are in Tunis.
Or in India.
So there are aspects that make me feel right at home in Bucharest.
Very good. We are very happy because we like you. You are a good ambassador.
Thank you.
And it's always nice to have an ambassador you can you can have a, let's say, a chemistry and discuss and share, than for me to just address questions and for you to respond.
Yeah.
I want to go to a more serious discussion now, to the Nobel Prize, that an interesting, I would say, combination of organizations, a quartet of...
yeah, I think it's the first time that actually it has to be shared among 4 recipients.
Yes, yes. I also don't don't remember in the history to be more than 2.
More than 2.
No,
yeah,
I don't
actually,
remember.
It's
but it's a fantastic achievement, because this coalition I'm reading from here just to be sure that I'm not forgetting anyone, are the Tunisian from unions.
A trade union.
Trade unions.
Yeah, the oldest one,
yes.
the one that has a historical role.
Yes, employers.
Yes, Itika.
Lawyers and human rights activists.
Oh, yeah, you're leaving out the Tunisian Lawyers Association. There's the Tunisian League of Human Rights.
No, I put it, lawyers.
Oh, you did. Oh, sorry.
Lawyers and human rights activists.
Yeah, but not combined.
No, not combined,
okay.
Separately.
Yeah, separately.
And this is fantastic, because they won the Nobel Prize for helping to prevent the Jasmine Revolution from descending into chaos like uprising in other Arab Spring countries. And we have some examples here we don't want to speak about, because it's other countries, and it's not the case to put you in such a situation,
yeah.
because they are your neighbors and so on. But it's a fantastic achievement for not only for Tunis, for Tunisia, I think for the whole world. But can you explain, I mean, to the citizens, what was the role of this coalition?
I'd like to say how much pride we feel.
Okay.
When we heard the news, despite the sometimes current difficulties and sometimes the sad news we hear when
yes.
when there was an attack, we feel also enormous pride in the Tunisian quartet for the national dialogue. It's really for us. It's like a crowning of what we lived through.
The progress on democracy.
The progress in democracy. It was a time when there was political crisis,
yes.
When in Tunisia there were 2 political assassinations of important political figures. And for a moment it seemed very difficult to go ahead with the
yes.
big project that all Tunisians really wished for, the achieving of the elections, legislative and
yes.
presidential,
yes.
Because we were in a transitional democratic process. And we had a new lexicon that was developed. We thought this would, of course...
It was a critical moment.
It was a critical moment. We called it can I say it in Arabic?
Oh, of course.
We were right in the middle of the neck of the bottle, عنق الزجاجة.
Okay.
That is very familiar to all Tunisians. And we were very anxious to come out, to be like every other nation that is democratic. And we never knew in the beginning, after the revolution, that it was going to be so hard, that the debate was going to be so arduous.
Yes.
And then the challenge of something very bad happening, and that seems to be really unraveling the process. And you feel like those who did it wanted for the process to stop in Tunisia.
What was the role of this of the
well, they
quartet?
came forward as
how did they
as part of the
yes.
Tunisian civil society,
okay.
and called for every party to the political process to come forward and accept a roadmap, and accept to come to the table and have a national dialogue, and to decide. The outcome was not known, of course, but to have this national dialogue about how we were going to continue the democratic process.
And they were, let's say, could I say that they were a link between, or let's say, the instrument of dialogue between the different political parties, or how did they?
They would talk incessantly to different parties to bring everybody, every movement, every tendency to the table of discussion.
Okay.
And it was not easy. I mean, the process
No.
I remember as part of the Tunisian public who were glued to their television screens, almost hour by hour, waiting to hear from because there were times when they would come out to say they were not successful in bringing the parties together. And we had to wait. It was like doing it yourself.
Yes, you felt that
you felt you were part
yourself.
of the process yourself, because
Fantastic.
of course it was done in a very much open and transparent way. And of course you had the reactions of everybody concerned.
Yes.
Some welcoming but cautiously, others rejecting altogether and saying outright they would not be part of this process. They were not wholly convinced. And it was it was really difficult. It was not something like a miracle. There come the quartet, and they have to even hold discussions together, and to.
Ms. Ambassador, you know, I'm polite with women, but I have to interrupt you for commercials. Publicitate.